Hello, welcome to Pecan Corner. It's a Sunday afternoon. We've been to church and we have a church event to go to in a little while, but I've got a few green beans here that I have gotten snapped and that I got at the farmer's market yesterday. These were grown in our community garden, and the excess produce from the community garden is donated to the Salvation Army's soup kitchen. Our local Salvation Army does not have a shelter, but they do have a soup kitchen and they feed meals every day. I'm going to raw pack these, and oops, there's my water boiling. Okay, I'm going to raw pack these so I don't need to cook them first. Anyway, we have another thing to go to, but these only have to process for 20 minutes in half pints. In pints, excuse me. It's 25 minutes if it were a quart. So there's plenty of time for me to do these up real quick before we go. And looks like I can get enough jars filled here to have a canner load full. So that's good. It will waste a little bit of energy by not doing it on a day when I can put something else in after these finish in that while that water's hot, but not a whole lot, not really. There we go. When you're pressure canning, your jars have to be clean. Of course, your produce has to be clean, but you don't have to sterilize your jars when you're pressure canning because they will become sterile in the process of the canning. It also applies to water bath canning if you're processing for longer than 10 minutes. So you still have to have sterile jars if you're making like jams and jellies where you're not processing for very long. But for anything that you're going to, if you're canning fruit where you're going to process for 15 or 20 minutes, you can get away without sterilizing your jars with just having them nice and clean and hot. Alright, I'm going to be able to get 5 pints out of here. I've got my water heating, and I'm going to add a little vinegar to my pressure canner, just regular vinegar, because our water has a lot of calcium in it, so that will help keep the minerals from baking onto the jars while they're cooking. Now I need to pour my boiling water over my electric kettle. Paul got me this for Christmas one year. He got me this and a tea cozy, and that tea cozy, it's wonderful. I don't know where he got it from, but it's got a special, oops, I'm going to have to heat some more water. It's got a special lining that really, really keeps the tea hot. It will still be steaming an hour later, so it's very, very nifty. Okay, I'm going to let this boil and then I'll be right back. Let me just put y'all on pause for a minute. Alright, while I'm waiting for that to finish, I'm going to go ahead and put half a teaspoon of salt into each jar. This is pickling and canning salt. If you don't have pickling and canning salt, for this purpose you can probably get by with using regular salt. For pickling and things though, you really need the special pickling and canning salt because it doesn't have any additives in it and it's very pure. And no, pink salt is not pure. Any salt that advertises itself as having many different kinds of minerals in it cannot also be pure. Pure salt is what is it? Sodium chloride. It's one thing. It's salt. So remember that when you're because those other minerals can interfere with the color of foods and things like that. So that's why you want your pure salt to use for things like this. Okay. I still didn't heat enough water, I swear, Tina. Okay, put my lid on here. Go get my my canning tongs. I'll be taking these out just before we leave. It'll be perfect timing. While these are cooking, I promised our friend that I would bring him some aloe vera plants. So I'll go pot up a couple of those for him real quick. And oops, that's the one I have though. That's the one I don't have the water in yet. There we go. And then when we open these, we will just cook them to death. Our elevation here is 1,621 feet. So I always have to use the 15-pound pressure gauge on ours when I do this. You need to look. You can look in. There's the one that fell out. You can look on the internet. The Wikipedia entry will usually have your elevation for your town. If you live in a hilly area that's got lots of steep hills, you may need to actually look up your exact geographic coordinates of your house to be sure that you get the right elevation. Because at lower elevations you don't need as much pressure, but you also won't, if you use the wrong pressure to can with, you can end up with a product that's not safe for you and your family to eat. All right, there we go. Now I have got my lid here. All right, I have looked through this, held it up. Whoops, where's it? There we go. Okay, I've held this up to the window and looked through that little hole to be sure it's not blocked. I can see through it. So now I'm going to find my V. There's my V, and there's the each canner has got a different way that it goes together, and there we go. All right, got it on there tight. Now I'm going to bring it up until it starts steaming, and then I have to let it vent for 10 minutes before I put my canning weight on it, and I don't start timing it until that canning weight starts rocking. So there's my weight with 15 pounds of pressure. I've got both of the little additional weights on there. All right, we will see you guys after a while. All right, my timer's fixing to go off. This has been venting for 10 minutes. All right, turn the timer off. Now I'm going to add my little weight to the top. There you go. And now I'm not going to start my timer again until that starts jiggling, and that'll take another little while. I started this whole process, I had my beans prepared. I worked on them after I got home from church, and so at 2:30 I started gathering up my jars and got out my canner and started working on this project. It's now 3 o'clock. We are going to leave here in 30 minutes. Now these only have to process for 20 minutes, so the timing is perfect. After the time is up on processing in the pressure canner, you don't open it right away. You let it sit there and leave the weight on it until it vents out all by itself and cools off naturally. So I can just turn the fire off under it, and we can leave the house, and when I come back, it'll have been cooled enough that I can take the jars out then. So the timing is really good. I went out, when I set my timer on this, I went out and put a couple of those little aloe vera plants. Our friends Herb and Renee gave me that pot with all those little aloe veras in it, and then our other friend Mickey, I saw him in the store the other day, and he was looking at little aloe veras, and he said, "Boy, they want $5 for these little," and I said, "Well, I have some, let me bring you some." So I'll bring him some this afternoon. So we've done that, and I've also made pimento cheese, homemade pimento cheese, because I'm going to make pimento cheese sandwiches to take with us to the little get-together. So that's the point of all this is you can do canning in the midst of your daily life. You can find odds and ends places to fit it in so that it's not interfering with the rest of your life. The preparation time for the vegetables takes the most time, but if you've got little children, there's nothing better to keep them still than have them shelling peas or snapping beans, and it's something that everybody can sit around and do together. You can corral hubby into helping too while he sits in front of the TV in the evenings. You can all sit together in the same room and actually do something, So canning does not have to be a big ordeal where you can either do it where you're spending a whole day working on things, or you can do it in little bits and pieces. I'm going to have 5 jars of green beans that we did ourselves. Yes, I can buy those green beans for 99 cents in the can. So that the difference is I know what's in these. I know how they were handled. I know how they were grown. They were grown organically. So the point is that you learn how to do it. Your children learn how to do it. Your grandchildren learn how to do it. And there's a lot of pride in that when you go in to take it out of the cabinet and you don't have to throw cans away or put them in the recycling. You just put them in the dishwasher, So it's pretty cool. This will start in a minute, and then I'll turn the fire down until it's just jiggling a little bit. I'll show you when it starts up. All right, hear how that's going? Now I'm going to turn my fire down a little bit. I'm going to make sure that it continues to toggle, but it should only toggle a little dab. And I'm going to put my timer for 20 minutes. Okay, alright, so there we go. All I have to do is turn it off and walk away when the time's up. It's perfect. Thank you so much. I'll be back and show you guys what the finished product looks like. Thanks a bunch. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm back. It's 7 o'clock now. We've come back from our travels, and everything's, as you saw when I pulled that off, no steam came out. It's still hot though. Don't think it's not. Lots of times when I take things out of this, they're still bubbling. This is not, but it's but they all processed good, and get them all out of here. And so in my spare time, just a few minutes here and there on a Sunday afternoon, in the middle of doing a load of laundry and potting up some aloe vera plants and making sandwiches to take somewhere, and making the pimento cheese to take it with, and cooking Paul's breakfast, and cooking up some sausage to have pre-cooked for later in the week. I also was able to can some green beans. So your pressure canner can be your friend, and you can find ways to do this in small amounts of time. So if you are busy working and running around, doing things for your family, and that doesn't mean that you can't find some time to do this. Just once you get in the habit of it. First you have to learn how, though. So I hope you've enjoyed this. We will see you guys later on. Thanks a bunch. Bye-bye.